Okay, so I am technically live, but I originally was going to start down here for the walk of Kalimdor. However, I realized that most of this would be swimming, and that's not really at the walk cycle, so I'm going to go kind of like as close as I can to Oldham as the starting point. So yeah, we will be starting shortly. Just gonna test the audio level, see how loud it is really quick. Alright, I think I need to increase this just a little bit. Or just move it. Where's the... There's the opening. Just move the opening closer. And this time around, I was able to get a camera pointed at the treadmill, which should light up shortly. I think this is probably our best bet for the lowest point, and we'll walk that way. I mean, I do have herbalism, might as well grab it. Okay, so there's a few new things on the screen. So, to start off, I found out that the regular walk cycle is actually 14.3 miles per hour, and the slash walk cycle is 5.1 miles per hour. The issue with the 5.1 is that's pretty fast. So the average, like the typical walk speed is like 3 miles an hour for the average male. But the animation of the walk cycle looks a little bit slower, so that's why I'm going to be going with the 2.2 again. I know that that's not accurate to the 5.1, and I just have the speed showing, but it's the best that I can do without, because there's no way I could keep up a 5.1 mile per hour walk. That is just really fast. So you put that down. Let's get the treadmill going. We'll put it up to 2.2, and we have started the walk of Kalimdor. Straight out of Tanaris. So I originally was going to start all the way at the bottom of Tanaris or Silithus, but both of them are kind of difficult. Tanaris, you can get down here. My issue with that is it's water for most of getting around this corner, which isn't really walking. So I have decided to walk from Oldham, and we're going to end as far up as I can get in Winterspring. So we're going to go Tanaris, 1,000 Needles, the Barrens, Ashenvale, Felwood, Winterspring. So that should be fun. I have a tab open for Kalimdor. So basically, Kalimdor is going to be timed just like last time, see how long it takes to go. This time around, I don't need to have the stopwatch, like the in-game stopwatch, because the treadmill, as you can see my feet poke in occasionally, shows 1 minute, 13 seconds, distance has not updated. So essentially we'll be able to track it using the treadmill rather than using the in-game stopwatch. So that should be fun. I've got an iced coffee. I've got some water. So we've got beverages. And we've got walking. A lot of walking ahead of us. This walk should be, I wouldn't say easier, but I think we'll encounter less dangerous stuff like the Searing Gorge and Burning Steps. I felt like actually had leveled enemies that would be dangerous. In this one, probably Winterspring is going to be the only zone that I would be a little bit timid about. But as you can see, the character, the add-on that I have that's showing the miles per hour says I'm walking at 5.1 miles per hour. But if you look at that walk cycle, there's nobody who walks that walk cycle and is 5.1 miles per hour. This very much looks like 2.2 to me. That's why I picked that one. Originally I picked it in my last video. If you watch, I Google it and it said it was 2.2. That was Google AI. Should not have listened to it. Completely inaccurate. It is actually 5.1. The walk cycle makes you walk at 36% of your 100% movement speed. As I've got these two add-ons now, and I got that side camera for the treadmill. So we're making some steps, walking through a desert. You know, hopefully gonna finish Kalimdor in one swing. We're gonna walk right by Gadget Zan and into Thousand Needles, so that should be fun. It's not ready yet. We're just gonna get rid of stuff along the way just for fun. But this time I think I'm gonna try and do it in one swoop. Eastern Kingdoms I did in 2 parts. The first part I walked from Stranglethorn Vale up to the lock, like the top of the lock, starting at Dun Algaz for wetlands, and then I walked wetlands to the tip of Terrispal Glades behind Scarlet Monastery for the second part. I didn't allot myself the time to walk for like 4 hours, but this time around I think maybe with like 1 bathroom break I might have it in me to walk the 4 hours. So we'll get as far as I can. I just had lunch, so I am as ready as I'll be to make it this far. Do I have the there we go. I was gonna say I didn't have music on. That's like, gotta have something in the background to listen to. And I think one of the other things that I'm gonna do after I've walked Eastern Kingdoms and then I'm gonna walk Kalimdor, probably not gonna do any of like the what just happened? Oh, that was strange. I'm probably not going to walk any of the future content, per se. Like, different expansions and stuff. I'm really sticking with just Season of Discovery. So, I think my next plan for something like this will be going to different zones and reading the books, starting with like Scarlet Monastery, just essentially going in, and there's like, I think like 40 books between the graveyard, library, armory, and cathedral. Just kind of getting the lore and everything while getting some steps in. We are currently sitting at, once it flips over, just under 7 minutes of walking, and we've done 0.2 miles. And we have not made a dent in Tanaris, so getting the start, really. Alright, we gotta deal with this. So I think that's, for the most part, what I'll do when I get attacked in lower zones, is just kind of dot it up, because I don't think Daze is going to do anything to us, since we're already at the walk speed. So we'll have the measure. 5.1 is on the screen. That's going to be a problem. Crystal Gaze would have stunned. That would have been a problem. But it didn't happen, so. Oh, we got a player. Stabby-esque. Thought they were safe in stealth. I'm got a couple levels on them. So yeah, this is gonna be a couple hours. You know, feel free to ask questions in chat. I'll put that as a pinned message. My guild just did ahead of the curve for retail, so now I have some free time to explore other stuff. You know, been playing a little bit of Heroes of the Storm lately. Kind of hit or miss with certain matches, but I enjoy the game, so I've been playing that a little bit. In reality, I need to get back to my hardcore character, but I've just been a little bit busy to get in the mindset to potentially lose my character, and I think we just got to the level to do stockades on him, so I don't want to rush into it. How are we doing on? Just about shy of our first 10 minutes in. 0.3 miles down. Eastern Kingdoms was about 7.7 miles in the route we took, so I'm hoping that this one, I bet this one will be about the same, although sneakily Tanaris is pretty big. So the biggest zone in the last walk we did was, I believe it was Stranglethorn Vale, which was basically just a mile on the dot, and then everything else was under a mile, some of them being smaller and certain ones being bigger, like Duskwood was 0.7 miles, Wetlands was 0.8 miles, that was one of the bigger ones. But I think that, oddly enough, Kalimdor has more expansive zones. Like, Barrens is probably going to be the longest walk we'll do. Definitely going to try and talk to some people in chat. Let me see if there's anybody even in Tanaris on Horde at the moment. Yeah, 2 people are leveling. It is pretty low populated server at the moment. You know, Season of Discovery, most people only go on for raid content, which isn't really happening in this area anymore. So, and the other thing that these add-ons show is if the enemy is moving, which this one is stationary at the moment. So like this scorpion's moving, it's moving at 36% speed. This one's moving at 40%, so its walk cycle is actually faster. It's actually one of those add-ons that I might start incorporating into my retail PvP, because I play warrior. Biggest pet peeve of warriors is just getting rooted and slowed. So if you can like vaguely understand the speed of your enemy, you can make some choices whether or not to chase in certain circumstances. Tanaris is one of those zones that when I first played the game back in like 2004 or 5-ish, I got here on the first time I came here was on a druid, and it was right when I was deciding to switch from feral to balance. I was like level 43 or something. Did a full gear swap, spent all my gold. Didn't even have have a mount, just used travel form, and I did all this swap, and this was before you could really Google stuff and really know the viability of certain specs, and the balance and moonkin form was kind of terrible. Ran out of mana really quick, didn't have that high damage output, so it was pretty unfortunate, and I re-rolled. Instead of just like figuring a way around it, I re-rolled to a warrior, and I got back to Tanaris eventually, and on the warrior I just ran Zul'Farrak as much as I could. I got that two-hand sword that you combine with the two one-hands that drop. I had the mace. I actually had the mace, the dagger, the two-hand sword, the one-hand swords. I think I got basically every single thing that dropped, except for the shoulders, which are arguably one of the cooler things that you can get, like visually. So it was kind of disappointing to have all that stuff from Zul'Farrak, but not the one that I thought was that cool. Really just walking the desert right now. What are we? We're half a mile in to Tanaris. That one's just calories and speed. And we've walked for just under 15 minutes. So I have a feeling this is going to be a 0.7 mile walk. And what I usually do is I round up, because the treadmill doesn't track any variance. It only goes in the tenths of a mile. So if we end and it's at 0.5, it's most likely going to roll over to 0.6 pretty soon. So it's better to round up or like do a half round. So we'll see. We're going to go around Gadget Zan. Actually, let's go right through it. Why not? So it is fun to think about that for this walk on Kalimdor, we're going to go through 2 major goblin cities. We're going to go through Gadget Zan, and then we're going to probably go through, what is it, Everlook? Could stop by Ratchet when we're in the Barrens, but it's kind of out of the way, so might not do that. But we're only 20 minutes into what will probably be a couple hours, so got a lot more steps to go. Oh, that's not good. We'll just go slightly around those elites. Don't feel like dying. We didn't die on the entirety of the Eastern Kingdom, so I'm hoping we can replicate that for Kalimdor. don't need that hyena. So some of these are pretty quick. Like that beetle's 114% speed. So even if I turned / walk off, it would still catch up to me. But we should be okay. Should make sure to enter away from the Alliance Flight Master. Don't want to deal with that. So it looks like this zone's going to be just around 0.7, maybe 0.8 miles with a walk time of just about 20 minutes. So that'll be the first zone in the books for the second adventure of Kalimdor. Oh, are they gonna go fight? Yeah. I am noticing that, you know, the last time we played, we saw significantly more Alliance than we did Horde, and that is already being the case this time around. 2 Alliance there, an Alliance there. We passed that rogue. There was the Paladin that just ran in. So, quite a lot of Alliance, so maybe I picked the wrong server to be Horde. And we've entered Gadget Zan. There's another Alliance. 2 more Alliance. We're going to exit out the other end. Walk up through the 1,000 Needles. Oh, there's another Night Elf. So we're still at, the treadmill's still showing 0.6, but we're not quite out of the zone yet. And I've been doing my best to do this series while walking on the paths. This zone does not have a path, so we just kind of did what we could, but now that there is a path, we'll attach ourselves, do our best to follow it. This was another one of those fun questing zones where you got like the carrot on a stick and Noggin Fogger. You have that turtle quest where you like rescue the turtle from down here and bring it all the way up. You're fighting pirates. You're battling for water and stuff, kind of like Dune. It's a pretty fun zone. It is bleak in how it looks, and some of the questing is, you know, running across a desert essentially, but it does have its moments. We are almost out of the zone. It is 0.7 miles, so we're probably going to record it as 0.75 miles. We'll hit it once we get to that zone switch on the minimap. Seems like a good spot. And where are we sitting for time? Once it swaps over, 20. So we'll probably finish the zone at 21 minutes and 0.75 miles to start the journey. First zone was Tanaris. Also, this add-on proves that jumping doesn't actually increase your speed as you go down stuff, so unfortunate. Kalimdor, we did Tanaris. It was 21 minutes, 0.75 miles. And we continue on to the next zone, which we're going to start at 21 minutes. And we'll say it's like 0.5 as soon as it rolls to 0.8, if that makes sense. So first we're going to go through the Shimmering Flats. I think we're think the best course would be to like pretend there's a path that goes up and connecting there, because, you know, there's a path over there. So we'll do that. Oh, we've got a troll warrior. Level 40, no mount. That was probably the most brutal thing to level as a kid, was a human warrior. I had come from playing a Night Elf Hunter, so aspect to the cheetah and everything, and then Night Elf Druid, which has cat form and travel form. So I went to having no movement speed, which was not great. Oh, I guess we could follow this path, which will take us towards the racetrack. Should be fun. Somebody killed the Silithid Flare, the elite. Alright. We're now in the Shimmering Flats. One of those like half zones. I say we'll count the Shimmering Flats and the Thousand Needles as one zone, because it's mapped as one zone. And we do have the option to could go through like Desolus and Stone Talon Mountain, you know, do the long way and skip the Barrens. That is a tough choice, because then there's the Great Lift. But the Barrens is just such an iconic zone. I think we, since I'm playing on a horde, I think we got to do the Barrens. Can't skip it as an undead. Maybe if I was playing on like an alliance, I could skip the Barrens, but not as a horde. So what are we? About 23 minutes in, 24 minutes in. One zone down, 0.8 miles. Kalimdor so far, if you look at it, we're actually making faster progress than we did on the Eastern Kingdoms. The Eastern Kingdoms is sneaky, long, and winding. So we'll see how this fares in comparison. And when I did Stranglethorn Vale, I had originally only had it at 2 miles an hour, and then that's when I Googled it, and it said 2.2, Google AI, completely wrong. So now, we did the actual add-on, and I actually did a video that I'm not going to release where I tested the run cycle using a stopwatch and measuring things out using the blink ability on a mage, because blink is exactly 100 yards. So if you measure out 100 yards and you run a certain distance, you can do the math to get how fast you're running. It ended up being almost identical to this add-on, so I figured I'd just use the add-on. It's a little bit easier, but there's no way I could keep up a 5.1 mile per hour pace for this entire video. So, like, as you can see, I feel like I look like I'm walking at about the same rate as the character, despite the character moving, you know, basically 2.5 times faster than I am. So, we will be sticking with this speed. To which I'm already getting a little bit of a sweat. Only 25 minutes in, with potential hours ahead of us. So, best of luck to me. We're nearing the completion of the Shimmering Flats, which is like one of those zones where It's like 2, 3, 4 quests, but so much happens there. Like I feel like there was that I forget what YouTuber it was, but they did that whole like who's the fastest player series where they raced around the racetrack. I feel like events used to happen here, some minor PvP stuff. It's just one of those zones that people are compelled to come to and just do whatever. There's that racetrack right over there. But yeah, I guess there was a path here, so super easy to follow. And we're gonna enter, well, we're technically in the Thousand Needles, I guess. But that's one of those zones that was pretty fun. I did it on this character here. I love watching clips of people do it on hardcore and they miss those jumps or like the elevator glitch, or they get a little too careless with running on top of these pillars and they just plummet. Those are some good hardcore clips. Oh, it looks like we did just hit our first mile. 1 mile in. Just about the same distance as Eastern Kingdoms so far. I wonder if they're like, if the walks are going to be almost identical. I feel like if I took the long way, where I like cut through Fairless and like up on the left coast or the west coast, would be a little bit longer than doing the Barrens run that I'm going to do. So and then yeah, like I said earlier, I think the next step I'm going to do is walk and go into some zones where there's books. Like I know Ironforge has books, the Undercity has books, Scarlet Monastery has books, Stormwind, Orgrimmar. Just go and read some of the written down lore that I never read as a kid. All while getting some steps in. Music in these zones is pretty calming. It's like got that quiet tameness to it. We're almost done with the Shimmering Flats, just like that. And I guess the Shimmering Flats was, we're not actually going to time it, but it was just about 9 minutes. And we round the other way about 0.2 miles. So nothing crazy, but we're going to do it once we get to the Great Lift. That's how we'll time it. Well, once we get to the top of the Great Lift and we start the Barrens. Next zone. Oh yeah, we just rolled over to 1.1 total miles. About 30 minutes in. Definitely a walk. Now this is one of those zones that really got to experience it. And there's that YouTube video where the person talks about like the fake lore that was created here. That was pretty funny. Cannot remember the title of the video. I watched it a long time ago. But this is one of those zones I wish I quested in completion, but in reality I just did a little bit here and there, as you can see. One of those cool add-ons that I really like, for an example, we'll listen to a Stratholme quest, is the voiceover, the AI voiceover, because like, yeah, you can read these quest texts and it's like you can get the job done, but like I love this.
You will have to delve deeper into Stratholme, adventurer. Beyond the first gates, you will find the ziggurats. We know that the Scourge draws great power from these structures. Search the ziggurats and return with any information that you may discover.
Like, that, as an addition to the game, has made questing so much more fun. Like, yeah, I've read the quest text, I did a lot throughout my time playing the game, but just having, like, an AI version of a gnome or a tauren or an undead just talk the quest through you, or to you, is so nice. And then you can continue running to wherever you were going to go, or begin the questing. It's just, I think that's one of my favorite add-ons that's ever been made. And we're still making progress. What other quests do I have? Oh, I have one in Tanaris. We could have listened to it while we were there.
You need 2 bars of thorium and a powerfully hot heat source to forge the key stem. You're on your own for the thorium, but I can help with the heat. To our west in Ungoro Crater is Fire Plume Ridge, a simmering volcano. The lava lake up top is hot enough to fuse thorium and bone together. Your gold has bought you a mold that simply requires you to dip it in the lake up top. The lava will take care of the rest. That's it on my end. To finish your key, you'll need to talk to Dithers again.
It's just the story and lore is so rich in some of these zones. Well, we're now a mile, well, 1.2 miles in, 33 minutes down. Just about to pass Freewind Post, and we're heading towards the Great Lift. Just got a couple miles ahead of us. You know, nothing crazy. We're only, I would actually say we're about 1/4 of the way done, and the Barrens is like a straight shot, so this one actually might be a much shorter walk than Eastern Kingdoms, which would be great news for me, so I'm not walking for like 4 hours straight again. The other video I cut up into 2 pieces. I did one for like 2.5 hours, and then the next one was like, I think, an hour. So, pretty long. But here we are, Kalimdor, which was the first of the 2 continents that I experienced when I played as a kid. Leveled a Night Elf, which I do plan on doing again sometime. I think I had a crab pet for a pretty long time, and I would just swap in and out a lot of pets. And then for a while, when I was in Desolace, I realized that vultures were the easiest pet to feed for me, because they basically ate any meat. So then I just started always having a vulture with me, so that I could feed it anything. And we got this rock moving behind the sunset or sunrise. Alright, so let's think about it. We started this one at 0.8, so we're about 0.5 miles in to the Thousand Needles Shimmering Flats, and just about, I think it's 18 minutes in the zone. So this one actually might end up being a longer walk than Tanaris, just because it is kind of a long shape, but we do cut off a little bit, so we'll see. Got another alliance passing through. Doing the farm of some sort. we're not going to take this elevator because we got to go to the Great Lift. This is the not so great lift. And then when we get to the Barrens, got a pretty simple straight ahead walk for us, which should be nice, so I don't have to, you know, turn ever so slightly to go around these little mountains. Alright, just about 38 minutes, 1.3 miles. Got a little sweat going. Got a lot of walking ahead of us, though. This zone has pretty good music, can't lie. Point 1.4 miles down. Almost 2 zones in. Finished up Tanaris. Making our progress through, just as it shows up on the screen, 1,000 needles. The last video did pretty well, and it ended up getting 1,000 views, which was pretty shocking for me, the live stream. Well, part 1 did. The second one got like 200 something views. So I thought I'd do the other continent, you know, get both done. So here we are, taking some steps through Kalimdor. Which, so far is not that picturesque. Like, we've been through a desert, now we're going through, like, you know, essentially the Grand Canyon, and then next is another desert. Whereas in Eastern Kingdoms, we started with a jungle, and we went into Duskwood, and then we went into, like, Red Ridge and Burning Steppes, so there was a lot of variance to where we were going. Not so much this time. Sorry, I had to close my room door. Well, we're making our progress through the 1,000 needles. Yeah, this lateral is going to actually add a lot more distance and time, because I don't think we really had a full lateral walk in any of Eastern Kingdoms. This is basically like just a horizontal walk. It's going to add like a whole mile to the journey. But then we got the straightaway of the Barrens, so hopefully that will shave some stuff down. This is a pretty peaceful zone. I didn't realize that the paths were basically empty of mobs. You got these cool like stone structures. Because I guess a lot of the real fighting and stuff goes on up on top of the, I'll buff them. Goes on top of the pillars is where you're fighting and everything. It's alright if they attack me, I guess. I can take them. Gonna swoop around, and then we're basically at the Great Lift. And this was, so far, 0.7 miles. And, wait for it to switch to time. 21 minutes, yeah, so far this has been the same distance as Tanaris, and we still have like another 5 minutes, so 1,000 Needles, Shimmering Flats ended up being longer. Which is actually kind of surprising, I guess, like when you think about it. I guess if they were two separates, they would both be smaller, but I guess from end to end, it is just a long strip. So, there's that. I don't know what to do with that information. Here come my homunculi. Alright, 1.5 miles down. Potentially only 6 more to go. Gotta stay hydrated, but I did just spill some water. We got the 3 little homunculi hanging out. I tested a theory where I tried to go full strength and agility on my gear, see if it would increase their damage output. It does not. That would have been pretty cool if it did. However, I think they thought of that. But I would think that things like that in Season of Discovery would be cool, like a cultist priest, like a dagger or mace wielding priest that gets up close and attacks that way. But you know, they can't do everything. You lucked out this time, messenger. If you came this way, over. Alright, we're almost at the Great Lift. And then once we get up the lift, we'll stop the clock for 1,000 Needles / Shimmering Flats, which is looking like it's going to be 24, 25 minutes so far. 0.85 miles. So might end up being another entire mile zone, our second total, or our second one ever after Stranglethorn Vale. And we have not made that much progress to be like an hour in, I feel, due to the angle of 1,000 Needles, unfortunately. But here we are, pressing on. Almost at the Great Lift. Probably not going to catch that one. I'm shocked they never like updated how these look, like adding like a rope or a pulley system, because for now they just look like they're floating up and down, which I guess is fine. But lore-wise, it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense for the game. Like, at least the gnomish ones and the Undercity ones, like, you can at least believe that they have some sort of, like, mechanical something going on in the background. Not here, though. Alright, so here's where we will need to stop walking for a moment, but that is fine. And then we're gonna take the lift, stop the clock, check the miles, all that kind of stuff. So, looks like we're at 1.7, which will round up to 1.75, meaning a full mile in the Shimmering Flats 1,000 Needles zone. As we enter the Barrens, this was 26 minutes of walking, and shoot, I just missed the distance. I wanted to get it as accurate as I could. I think it's exactly 1 mile, but yeah, it was 26 minutes. Yeah, just about 1 mile, because we're rounding. Next, the Barrens, which I do think is going to be a long zone. Don't fall off the elevator. Hey, it's not hardcore, I can just get back on. But what do you think of the treadmill cam, if you will? At least we're in the Barrens. One of those straightforward walk-in zones. .200 calories burned. Still walking at 2.2. Just shy of 50 minutes in. Total distance, 1.8 miles. So seeing if anybody in Barrens chat has a fun Barrens story to tell, because I actually never leveled in the Barrens. Did not play Horde. So, never got to really experience what it was like to be a Barrens grower or leveler. This is definitely going to be one of those long and straight shot walks. I definitely did Wailing Caverns a bunch, especially after Dungeon Finder, but I think I only leveled in the Barrens after like Hardcore and Season of Discovery came out. Yeah, my toes can go in frame here and there. Let me see if I can do a few kicks without falling. So, it's just the way that there's not a lot of space under my desk, so to get the camera showing and everything, it's pretty close to where my feet go. Is the camera so shitty? Oh no, there it goes. I was gonna say. I'm looking at the stream feedback and I didn't see the feet for a little while. Yeah, I got some Adidas walking shoes on. Man, oh man. So far, not a whole lot of color palette from the zones we've done. A lot of brown and sand and grays. it is, you know, a pretty barren zone, if you will. I know that the lore here is pretty big, and what they're trying to do with, like, or what the, what is it called, the centaurs are doing with the Wailing Caverns and the Oasis, getting the water back, and how the Horde and orcs are trying to get lumber and life from basically the Night Elf areas down through the deserted part of where the orcs live. But it's like, you could have just went to the Ungoro crater, but they didn't. What are you going to do? Much less familiar with, what's it called, Horde lore and leveling than I am with Alliance. So. Ungoro crater is one of those zones that on my rogue, my hardcore rogue at 52, I was doing a little bit of Ungoro crater, and it's just one of those zones that's deadly on hardcore, and I remember doing a little bit of it on my human warrior in vanilla, and it's just a very complex area. It's very rewarding if you know the crystals and the questing and what to pick up and all that, but just going there, I think I was like 10 or maybe 9 years old. I kind of just got lost in all the stuff to do. We're almost at 2 miles total. Now we're making a good amount of headway on the actual length of the continent. I feel like the Thousand Needles really did us dirty with basically walking horizontal. We got Pambus, who stopped to wave. Let me see if they have any Barren stories to tell. Actually, now that... Oh, this is Trance 2 Dragon. I whispered them in the Barrens. I hope you enjoy your leveling. Let me go back and see what you're leveling. 16 Orc Hunter. You got a fun zone ahead of you for a hunter. A lot of pets to get. A lot of gear from Wailing Caverns. I've not tried Hunter in Season of Discovery. I wonder if it's any different than like Classic. I mean, it's definitely different, but I wonder how different. My first character ever was actually a Tauren Hunter. It was on my brother's friend's older brother's WoW account. I got to play for like a half hour, made a Tauren Hunter, barely got out of being like level 2 or 3, and then I eventually got my own account like a year later, or like a couple months later, and made a Night Elf Hunter. Like we all had Night Elf Hunters, every single one of us, so that was pretty fun. I think you subscribed. Thank you, man. XX Trance 2 Dragon XX. Well, just probably Trance 2 Dragon. I hope you get to 60 swiftly. I basically hit 60 on this character, did AQ 40, and then took a break, and then they released the Scarlet Monastery stuff, or what is it called, the Scarlet Cathedral? No, that's not it. What is it called? Scarlet Enclave. I have not actually done it yet, but that's the next plan for this character. I'm not geared up enough. I ran a couple raids and I just really didn't get too many drops, so I was severely undergeared, not in a guild, you know. Yeah, it looks like an old RuneScape name, like back when you would put the X's in front and stuff. So, I get it. But I feel like eventually I'll get to the Scarlet Enclave. I do want to experience the new raid. All of the raids from Season of Discovery have been pretty fun. Oh, it looks like we just hit 2.1 miles. About an hour into the walk. So, yeah, we're making pretty good distance. You know, starting pretty far down. And then once we're done with the Barrens, it's going to be a long walk through the Barrens, but we'll get plenty of it. Plenty of the map done with just the Barrens. Might take a break to use the bathroom at the end of the Barrens. We'll see. Because I think once I get done with this zone, it's basically nothing till the end. I've never really thought of how much. Like the Barrens spans Farless, Desolus, and Stonetown Mountains on its other side. We got... I can heal him. Oh, we got another undead for once. Let's get back into shadow form though. I do wonder what people think when I just like lore walk past them. Well, we're 240 calories down. This is the one slightly list to the right section. I do remember the thundering Kodo or Thunderhead lizards from Warcraft 3 had such cool sound effects and everything. And I think they used the same ones, or very similar ones, in WoW. And then you got the Kodos. I do need to replay Warcraft 3 eventually. Got a lot of games to replay. Once I'm done with this walk-in series, I'll have some unencumbered time. See, we could just cut across the grass right here, but we gotta stay on the path. Having a nice wild cherry Pepsi. Alright. We're at another pretty good straightaway, which is always nice. How many people are in the Barrens right now? I feel like on the Horde there's probably quite a lot. Oh yeah, tons. I'm just reaching out in chat because I want to talk about something, but it doesn't always have to be my stories. I wish I interviewed people prior about their experiences in these zones that I'm walking through. I do like that, actually, from what I remember, there's a lot of quests in Ratchet, in Gadgetzan, and Everlook, where you're, questing for the goblins, and you talk about the Undermine and like this zone and construction of the goblins, and we don't really hear much about it outside of Classic. And I do recall quite a few quests talking about it, and the goblins talking of it, kind of like how Nomergan existed, but with a little bit more like mythos to it. Is that just a cat? What the hell? Why is there an orange tabby cat? Whatever. And then now, in retail, the Undermine becomes a zone, but it's in, like, one of these world maps that we don't actually get to see in vanilla. It's just like an odd thing to me that, you know, it's something that kept being mentioned in Classic, but didn't actually become anything until, how many expansions? Like 7 later? 8 later? And it wasn't damaged during Cataclysm. It wasn't discovered like when we went to Northrend or anything else. It's like the goblins kept it under wraps even while they were part of the Alliance, or part of the Horde for that long. It's just like a weird, I don't know, to me it never sat well that we came back to it so much later. Someone said to read the entirety of the Journey to the West. What is that? Yeah, that's a lot of, it's a very specific thing to read. Probably not going to read that. I meant more like World of Warcraft related stories. I guess I have a medium to funny WoW story. When I first found out about like capping a character at level 19 and gearing it out as best as you could, and I would just get absolutely got in Warsong Gulch and stuff by these fully kitted out 19 Night Elf rogues and stuff. I like asked my brother, who's older than me, I was like, how did they get this gear? Like, that's crazy, you're level 19, how did you get it? Obviously, looking back now, they had a max level character, and they just funded the gear or runs to get the gear and enchants and stuff. But I didn't not know that or put that together at a young age. So my brother told me that it was, they would at level 1 or like 5 or something just pickpocket over and over like the low level NPCs and just get the copper and gold that way to buy their gear. So I remember I started a rogue, Night Elf rogue, and I just pickpocketed everything I could while I was leveling and just doing my best to do it that way. And eventually I put it together. I was like, this is not adding up. I have like less than a gold and put in hours of work. And I asked him and he was like, I was making fun of you, wasting your time. I think I made like at most a gold in an hour or two of pickpocketing. There's no way you can fund all your gear that way. We're almost 2.5 miles in. Just over an hour and 10 minutes of walking. Or no, hour and 6 minutes of walking. Just about 2.5 miles in. And we're sitting almost at the halfway mark through the whole walk. So the Barrens being a straight shot is being very helpful to our total distance. So that's a good thing. feel like the Barrens used to have this, you know, vibe of having everybody talking in chat and always saying crazy stuff. And I never got to experience it because I played Alliance until Pandaria. And there's nothing going on in general chat right now. Kind of wild. I feel like it was overhyped. We're almost heading up on the Wailing Caverns, passing the Centaur land. What tribe of Centaur are here? I always forget. I don't think it's one that you can actually look up like that. It's like out of all the races that I thought were going to be added to the Horde, I really didn't see Goblin coming, to be honest. You know. And it could have went either way for Worgen. You really could have seen the Worgen joining, oh, the Barrens is more active in hardcore. That makes sense. That would make sense. I'm not doing this walk on hardcore, though. Risk dying. Especially, like, you'd have to be a high-level character to go into Winterspring anyways. But I didn't see the Goblin joining the Horde. Like, the Worgen are right by the Undead in the Forsaken. I could have seen the Worgen joining the Horde. Or Ogres, or Centaurs. Or really anybody. And then for the Alliance, it's kind of, I don't know. I feel like a lot of people thought Naga was going to become the race. I remember that for Burning Crusade. Everybody was like, oh, it's going to be Naga or the playable race. But we did not get them. Got a little bit more to the Barrens to go. Almost an hour and 10 minutes in. I think this is doable in one walk. If it's, because I think Ashenvale to Felwood is also pretty short, and then Felwood is another one of those just pretty quick straight walks. And then Winterspring will veer off the path after Everlook and just try and get as close to the top as we can. Yeah, Ogres. I remember in Warcraft 3, that was like the whole Rexar campaign, was him trying to get Ogres into the Horde. But they didn't because they female model or couldn't figure it out. They scrapped them and made it NPCs instead. Yeah, I think that was part of the issue with the Drekthir as well in Dragonflight, because the armor doesn't sit on them all that well. That's why they have the visage form, so they can swap between, you know, basically high elves and dragons. But ogres would have been cool. I'm personally upset when I found out that we were getting the dragon race finally. I thought we were going to get, like, from Blackwing Lair, the, like, quadruped with the polearm, like, warrior dragons. I thought we would get those, like, bigger fighting-looking dragons, especially now that they're not just evokers, that we can play warriors and rogues and all these other classes. I thought we would get the much, like, bigger fighting-looking dragons, but we just got the regular Drekthir, which is fine, but would have been cool to have one of these old-style classic WoWs. Yeah, those would have been sick. And then they keep rumoring like Classic Plus, and I think Blizzard sent out that I don't know if it's like a forum discussion or a survey where they were like asking the fan base like what would you guys actually want from Classic Plus? And I think a lot of people talk about mechanics and this and that, and I'd rather just get like the story arcs that they started that they never finished, like the fact that all of this is like you can't go here, you can't go here. Where else? There's like all of this is empty. So it's like they set up a lot of lore and zones, and like these islands ended up being different islands. So I think Classic Plus would be cool to have the alternative timeline where maybe the Dark Portal doesn't open, and we don't go to Outland, and instead of having all this, I guess, world traveling and all that stuff, we end up just doing the story arc that Azeroth had, as if the Dark Portal didn't get opened. I know that's a weird take, but we'll see what they do with Classic Plus. I'm open to an idea like that. I've been enjoying hardcore realms. I've been enjoying Season of Discovery. So, anything but retail at this point. Just hit 2.6 miles. Almost done with the Barrens. What did we start the Barrens at? Started the Barrens at 1.8 miles on the meter. We're at 2.6, so just about 0.8 miles in to the Barrens, and we've probably got another 0.4 to go. So this might be the longest zone we've walked yet. Is Locky Who still here? Or probably playing a different game right now. Let's see. Yeah, I was gonna stream this yesterday, but it was Friday the 13th, and I get tattoos on Friday the 13th, and it's on my leg, so I didn't want to do a whole bunch of walking the same day that I got a tattoo. I feel like it wouldn't have been good for it, so skipped it. But the last time I did this on a Friday, I got quite a lot of viewers, so maybe Friday afternoons is like the magic time to do this. Let me Google why there was that orange tabby cat in the Barrens. Let's see if anybody figured it out. Looks like somebody figured it out on Reddit. So it says, it looks like there's different cats in different zones where they walk to specific locations. The orange tabby cat leads to the burned body at the T in the road where it turns into Dustwallow Marsh. So you go there and get the note and then come back here when you figure out the note, because I have not. Oh, I see. It's a hunter thing. Got the quest on my orc rogue, but my dwarf hunter couldn't. Now I'm trying to figure out where the next part is. So it seems like it's a Season of Discovery specific thing. Bit distracted, playing a few games. What game are you playing? Is what I was going to ask. Are you still playing? What was it? Not Animal Crossing. Was it Animal Crossing or Stardew Valley, or is that the same thing? No, they're not the same thing, but which one were you playing? One of them. Expedition 33, but took a break for Smash, of course. You know, next time, or I guess not next time, because we're already in the thick of it on this, I should have played Smash right here while I did the walk. E33 is incredible. It's good to know. You got Stardew Valley, but haven't opened it. Ah. I've heard good things about Stardew Valley. It kind of looks like... What is that game? Terraria? Terraria. Similar art style. Well, we've hit the crossroads, which I would say is the little past the center mark. So we're past the halfway point. It's a lot like Harvest Moon. Ah, okay. And is Harvest Moon Animal Crossing? Or am I just completely out of touch with these different games? Similar art style as Terraria. Okay. Okay. I had an ex-girlfriend who played a lot of Animal Crossing, so that's like my really only knowledge of Animal Crossing. That and that the Villager and Isabella in Smash are pretty fun to play. Well, we have exited the crossroads. We are nearing Ashenvale. We're making significant progress. We're almost at 3 miles. Not the same thing, Fake Gamer Alert. I've never played them. To get called Fake Gamer, all you have to do is say that Dark Souls and Skyrim are like the same game. I'm definitely starting to sweat, hour and 20 minutes in. I definitely could not have done this on the actual 5.1 miles per hour. Maybe once I get to the end and I'm in Winterspring, and I'm at the end of the zone, I'll attempt to do the actual walk cycle of 5.1 miles per hour. But I have a strong feeling that that's just like an actual jog and not really a walk. We shall see. We're almost in, or not almost, but we're getting pretty close to Ashenvale here. Still almost at 3 miles. Still got the, glad the camera for the treadmill hasn't shifted so much, because it's not really stable, and it's like right where my feet are on the treadmill, so I was afraid that it was going to get like vibrated off. Alright, how are we doing? I guess I've actually never been... Oh shit, you know what I just realized? I'm hostile with Timbermaw Hold. That's going to be a fun part of this journey, is going through the tunnel as an RP walking hostile character. That is going to be fun. I think the reason I forgot about that is on my Vanilla Warrior back in 2006, I got exalted with the Timbermaw hold because I really wanted to turn into a furbog. So I did the whole rep farm of the feathers, the beaded necklaces, the works. That's how I leveled from, I think once I was around level like 47, 48, maybe even 50 on my human warrior, I leveled the remaining levels to 60 by farming furbog rep for the Timbermaw hold. Didn't have leatherworking or tailoring or enchanting. I was an engineer, so I didn't get any of the professions. I don't even think the defender trinket is all that good for, I was a fury warrior or something at the time. So straight up was just to get the furbog form. So I forgot that you can actually be hostile when you're going through. So it's really a short distance. It's just right here. But on RP walk, that might actually be a little difficult. So we shall see. But it looks like the Barrens is now officially the longest zone, because Shimmering Flats and Tanaris were 1.8 miles together. The Barrens is now at 1.2. And the previous longest was Stranglethorn Vale at 1 mile. So, the more you know. We're starting to see the tree line. Of Ashenvale, where Warsong Gulch takes place. Definitely starting to feel the walk. You know, just about an hour and a half of straight walking. Now at 1.3 miles in the Barrens. So, Barrens is actually no joke of a walk. It's pretty big. Definitely looks like one of the longest zones. But we're almost out of it. Five minutes shy of an hour and a half. Making some serious progress on the walk. We're on the Gold Road. Is that what this is called? Didn't know that. It's a cool little touch. The bones and stuff hanging from the tree. One of my favorite creatures they've made in World of Warcraft is the Planestrider. In retail, I try and collect all of the Planestrider mounts that they have. I don't know why, it's just such a fun, like, odd-looking bird creature. Alright, Barrens. Are you gonna be 1.3 miles? Actually, if we round up, it's 1.4 if we're gonna do the swap when we actually get to the other side of the zone, or the zone swap. So yeah, Barrens is gonna be 1.4 miles. I think I lost track of the clock. Let's go back to the sheet. 21 minutes, 26 minutes, so that's like 47 minutes. And now we're at just like an hour and a half, right? So I guess it's like 40-minute walk of the Barrens. Well, we're not out of it yet. Probably another 2-3 minutes. man, oh man. Yep, it just rolled over to 3.2. So the Barrens is almost a mile and a half, you know. I think we're knocking around round up because it's not, like that's not a whole lot right there. So, we'll see. But yeah, the Barrens is by far the longest straight walk that we've done. We got two Alliance running through. Chud Maximus and Boinkim. Those are some names. Alright. The grass is about to swap. The trees swapped. So you can see we got the barren trees over there, and then we got like, they're starting to die from being in the Barrens, and then we got the full greenery of Ashenvale at the zone swap. Alright. Let's see. Probably it's going to swap zones right up there, so I'm just trying to keep an eye out on the treadmill. 30 seconds away from being an hour and a half. And in comparison, like, an hour and a half we were only done with a lock, which is like dead center half. Whereas here, we're like basically 2/3 of the way done. So Kalimdor might be a faster walk. You know what? I think we're gonna roll over to 3.3. I think the Barrens is a mile and a half. Putting it down at just about a 50-minute walk. 1.5 miles. Because that is definitely where it swaps zones. Oddly enough, the first time I did, or was in the Barrens, was on my Night Elf when I ran Wailing Caverns at like level 25. I had already done Black Fathom Depths, but I found out that that was the next closest dungeon for that level, so we ran over. Actually, is there a cut through the fence there? Yeah, it looks like the path actually hooks that way. So we'll do that. And we're starting, yeah, rolled over to 3.3. So we're starting Ashenvale at 3.3 and an hour and a half on the clock. This is going to be a very short one. We're essentially just going right into Felwood from here. So, not a whole lot left for the walking. This was actually kind of a perfect day for me to do this. It is raining here, so I could not go out and skate. And this is a perfect way to get a little bit of exercise in. And it's kind of a fun little thing to do. Come on, zone swap. Oh, it's probably right where the color of the ground swaps. It's not going to roll over to 3.4, right? No, no way. Alright. Come on, Ashenvale. Alright, now we're in Ashenvale. The battle for Ashenvale is in progress. I really hope I do not get PvP flagged or anything. This music always brings me back to when I was leveling a Night Elf at like 8 years old. Such great music. Let me see if I can put the audio up a bit. This is like, to me, this is World of Warcraft music. Because this was like the first one that I listened to a lot. So we're going up, to the left a little, right by the Rainwood Retreat. It was fun leveling a Night Elf, but it did feel very detached from the Alliance, since you're so far up in your own zone, essentially. And you don't really connect with the other zones until you go through the wetlands and walk all that other way up through the Dwarven areas, which is not, it's not that far. Like, once you get to Dark Shore, you get the boat, but without any movement speed, it's still a super long walk, which I did the other day. So, but I really enjoyed leveling a Night Elf. I think the quests were really fun. I loved Furbogs. I liked the zones. All my friends had Night Elf hunters too. Like, my brother and his friend and their older brother all played Night Elf hunters. And then when me and my 3 friends from middle school started playing, we all had Night Elf hunters. So it was essentially just like a pack of like 6 Night Elf hunters. And we were all on the same realm back in the day, which was Gorganis. No. Gorganis? It started with a G. I think it was Gorganis, something like that. Let me look this up. Classic WoW realm. Is this? Yeah, Gorganis. No, there was no classic WoW named Gorganis. Alright. Let me Google original WoW realm names. I know it started with a G. Give me a second. No, that's the remake of Classic. I want, like... I feel like this should be easier to find information. Alright, maybe I need to put in 2004, because it keeps showing me the current retail. Wait, you're going the fast walk? Alright. Here we go. 2000. Gorgonash. That's the realm name. We were on Gorgonash. 6 of us Night Elf hunters strutting our stuff on Gorgonash. That was the realm name. Okay, Locky Who, I think I know exactly what you're thinking. And hopefully with my new, better understanding of how to explain this, I am currently walking I have auto walk toggled on. So my character is just automatically walking. I'm not touching a button, as you see. However, I have the /walk speed also toggled on, which is why here, where it says speed player details, I'm running 36% of the base running speed of the game. So the base walk speed, when you just press W, is 14.3 or something. When you toggle /walk, you walk 36% of that speed, which is 5.1 miles per hour. However, when you look at the animation, I feel like I'm walking pretty similar to his animation cycle, but he's traveling way faster than any... Like, if anyone walked at that cycle, they would not be going that fast. You forgot the whole thing. Okay. Well, I explained it earlier in the stream, and I'll explain it again because I feel like some people might just pop in to rewatch the video like last time. So, well, we're making good progress on Ashenvale. We're just shy of 10 minutes in the zone, and we've walked 0.3 miles. So it's going to be a much shorter zone than the other ones. And then I think we're just going to power through. What do you think? Should I just power through? Do the whole last stretch of Felwood and Winterspring, no break? Mr. Lucky Who, chat moderator. I'll take your silence as a yes. Ooh, we definitely feeling the walk though. Oh, we got another player. End of days. He's going at 160% of the walk speed because he's running on a 60% mount speed mount, which means no carrot on a stick active for him. We're about an hour and 40 minutes in. Oh yeah. Oh, I think are you watching on a delay? Well, I guess YouTube does this a lot where it's like it's playing and for some reason it just buffers and turns off live. But yeah, we're making progress. Almost in Felwood, which would mean this zone is probably only going to be like 20 minutes, maybe like 0.4 miles. I guess I could just look here on the stream site. Yeah, 0.4 miles in, so maybe 0.5, because I forgot this little strip. Alright, we're going to do, or at least attempt to do the whole thing in one walk, and then maybe I'll edit like a super upload of the whole thing of walking Azeroth on a treadmill in full, where I just put I could just speed up the footage, that way it's not like be like a 6-hour video or something crazy. Whew. Alright, yeah, this is going to be a 0.5 zone, I'm guessing. Smaller one of the smaller zones we've done. What was the smallest zone ever? South Shore, Alterac Valley, both 0.3. So South Shore and Alterac Valley, which I guess unfairly we did the Shimmering Flats and Thousand Needles as one, but then for South Shore and Alterac Mountains we did separate, but you can click them separately. I don't think you can click... Yeah. Oh well. The footage to the dancing crab music would go hard. Compress all like 6 to 7 hours of footage into however long the dancing crab music is. It's just like me huffing it. And just put like a block of the stats on the screen. Almost in Felwood. 425 calories burned. Definitely feeling the walk at this point. I do remember Felwood was one of those first zones, because when you level a Night Elf, you know, Teldrassil to Darkshore makes sense. Darkshore to Ashenvale is your only next one. And then Desolace, you have to go through Stone Talon Mountains, but for Felwood, you do have this entrance right here. And I remember at like, I think level 30-ish on my Night Elf Hunter, I thought you were supposed to go to Felwood next, because, you know, it's 2005, you can't really look too much of this stuff up. And I remember just being met with like red level rabid wolves and bears, and being like, I don't think this is the next trajectory that I'm supposed to take. Alright, we're at 3.8, so yeah, I guess we're already 0.5, so this might be a 0.6 actually. It's so odd that that is longer than this. I guess it makes sense because this has like a left, right, and then, I don't know. Couldn't tell you. But we are making good progress. Hour 46 minutes in. 3.8 miles down. So yeah, I guess the path I took is much more direct, because this one did have a bit of like winding, and the Barrens really just gave us such a short and direct path forward. Or maybe my my math was slightly wrong, give or take a mile on the Eastern Kingdoms. We are almost to Felwood. Actually, now that I think of it, after Felwood having 2 more zones, it's probably going to be like another hour of walking. But we could do that. The only part that I'm not looking forward to is the Timbermaw Hold Tunnel. That is probably going to be the most difficult section. It is crazy that this is like the same graphics as like 2004 WoW. Could have done the whole walk like this. Just like a scenic first person cinematic walk. Alright, chat, we gotta start over. Gotta go bald. And then here's where, like, zones actually used to have, like, a little bit of corruption there, some nice trees, and then, like, a little bit of corruption on this tree. You would, like, actually fade in and out of zones. Whereas in, like, retail, it's like, here's zone, and then here's next zone, and they touch, or like have water separating them, but there's never like this fade in, fade out. And you can also go like 3,000% mount speed or something crazy. No, so Mr. Alex, the in-game character speed is 5.1 miles per hour. The issue I'm having is if you look at his actual walk animation, it does not look like he's moving 5 miles an hour, or 5.1 miles an hour. So I'm going to attempt it at the end of the video, but for the actual foot camera, if you will, I'm going 2.2 miles an hour, because that's what I feel like the actual animation cycle speed is. Like, see how me and him look like we have the same Ganter? That's what I'm going off. You need a speed command. Hey, you're the chat moderator. You're the one who's got to make that. Alright, what did we just entered Felwood. So that was 20 minutes. And what was the distance? 0.5. So we have Ashenvale was 20 minutes, 0.5 miles. So we're at a total of 4 miles on the dot. Oh, did I mean to say gate? I think I meant to say gate. Oh, there's the Ganter Shoe Company. Huh. While we're in Felwood, only 2 zones left, and this one's like kind of like a cashew C shape. If I weren't on mobile, I would, but I'm not doing all that for 3 viewers, including yourself. Completely fair. And I also don't know how to do it Otherwise, I would. I feel like Friday afternoons is the best time to do this, but this was the best time for me. Dr. Mantis Toboggan, I wonder who that could possibly be. I love that. Be right back. Hello. Yeah, the last time I did this, on the Friday, got like, I think peaked at like 40 people watching. That was pretty cool. The final video got like 1,000 views. But this time we're just 0.1 mile into Felwood. Some guy's running by. Who's this? Oh my god, a character named Ligma. That's too good. Legit Ligma. So once we get to the end of this zone, we got the Timbermaw Furbog Cave to get through, which at walk speed, we may die. I'm geared, but not getting smoked geared. Could make it extra hectic, and for that stretch, into Winterspring, do the 5.1. I think I would genuinely hurt myself on this treadmill if I tried. Oh, I didn't know that Locky Who put it in a group chat. What is the max incline your treadmill can go up to? It is a walking treadmill, so max incline is 0. It's flat. But I have never checked how fast it can go. So we'll get to the tunnel. It's up, as you can see, once the map opens on Felwood. It's up by the top before you enter Winterspring. We got quite a ways to go, but we'll try it for the cave. We're making some serious progress compared to the other continent. But at the other continent, I did round up at certain zones because I didn't do it in one walk cycle. But the total ended up being around 7.7 miles. Whereas at this zone, this continent, we're currently sitting at 4.2. And I'm going to guess this is going to be like another mile, and then maybe another 0.7. So this might feel like this continent's going to be like 6 miles, which would mean they're about the same. The difference is this one had a much more direct path than this one. It did kind of wind a bit, so we'll see. But then it's done. No more walking the continents. For now. For one like in chat, I'll crack open a second wild cherry Pepsi. Because we're almost out of water. 2 hours in. Probably another, I would say this is going to be like another 40 minutes around the bend. Have you thought about wearing a weighted vest to match your character's equipment load? World of Warcraft does not have a weight cumbersome. So I'm just going to open up my bags to show you. I have a blue skeletal horse, a bunch of armor, potions, food, swords, herbs. What else would be heavy? Frayed abomination stitchings. I have a cannon. Actually, we could use that. That would be fun. So there's no weight load. I could do Skyrim. I could do the same type of series on Skyrim and do that, where whatever I'm carrying, I put on weights. Do VR Skyrim on the treadmill. You should add 80 pounds. A skeletal horse is probably more than 80 pounds. I don't think I could carry 80 pounds for, at this point, 4.3 miles. That's pretty far. Yeah, I'm also on like a tiny treadmill, so sticking with the basics, you know. Felwood's one of those zones that I spent a shit ton of time in because of the furbogs take up this whole corner here, and I leveled pretty far from I think like done 2 or 3 characters there, but in vanilla I did my whole 40, I would say like 48 to 60 on my warrior there. Sounds like a great for the legs. Are you in a mode where things can attack? No, things can attack me. I also, no profanity filter. So, Mr. Toboggan, if you look at the map, up here, before Winterspring, which is the last zone we're doing, there's a tunnel that we have to go through, and the enemies are going to be hostile in that tunnel. So, we're going to get absolutely ravaged while we're going through there. It's barely Mantis Toboggan. But if the doctor... Fair enough. Alright, Dr. Mantis. We do have some Zero Sugar Wild Cherry Pepsis at the stream location. Tufts. But yeah, I can get attacked. It's just I'm max level for this version of the game, and I'm staying on the path, which mostly enemies don't go on. So you know, definitely breaking a sweat here. What are we at? 2 hours in total. Oh, some guy just ran by. What's his name? Delarthan. Just burned just about 500 calories. We're about a third of the way through Felwood. What distance are we at? 4.4 miles. You know what would have made this walk a lot easier is if I just had instead of chat on the second monitor, just put up Naruto. Just watch it, pull a Mr. Beast. Would be more if you wore a weighted vest. That is true. I could have worn my ankle weights. You actually don't know if I'm wearing ankle weights or not. So, you know. For all you know, I have a weighted belt and ankle weights on. Alright, let's attack something, because why not? And we'll just let it die as we walk away. Hit me with Rend, it's fine. This is another one of those zones that's pretty rich in lore. It's like, it used to be Night Elf owned, and it's like been corrupted by like demonic energy and plagues, but mostly demons. And the Night Elves have essentially just given up on it, and that's like Jadenar is where like a lot of the demons are, and it's like pouring over into Duskwood, and it's like it's what separates like basically this part of what used to all be Night Elf, like Hyjal, Moonglade. It's all separated by this like fell demonic area. Like this is just a puddle of ooze essentially. Blood Venom Falls. And like a lot of the quests are to like basically just get samples from the tainted oozes and the demons and try and like figure out what caused it to become corrupted. And I think that is eventually what partly is the quest chain involving Hyjal and the Burning Legion and stuff, but I don't remember. It was a long time ago. Watching the Chunin exam arc with ankle weights would be goated. Yeah, basically doing like an actual Rock Lee, but on a treadmill. But I don't know how good that would be for my knees and ankles, to be honest. Treadmill walking is already not the greatest for you. That's why I make sure to do it in shoes and not barefoot. And I also don't think my apartment floor is exactly level, so who knows what kind of damage I'm actually doing. Like if I'm walking at like a slight plane like that, wouldn't be great, but yeah, these are level 50 enemies. I'm level 60. So, and the ones in the cave I believe are level 55. So I could probably take like 3 or 4 of them, but at walking speed it's going to be treacherous. Alright, we're about halfway done with Felwood. Let's check in. We're at, was it really 0.6 miles in Felwood? That doesn't sound right. Alright. Yeah, I guess we're already 0.6 into Felwood. Maybe Felwood's sneaky a really big zone. I guess that slight curve to it. Does add some distance. Oh, we got another subscriber. I hope that was Mr. Dr. Mantis, Dr. Mr. Toboggan. Alright, 520 calories burned. Still making some progress walking. Definitely sweating at this point. Still got a little bit of a ways to go. Oh, so that means you weren't subscribed before. That's why Locky Who is chat moderator, and you're just Dr. Mantis Toboggan. I wouldn't be shocked if Trance to Dragon stopped watching a while ago. But you know. It says we got 5. Yeah, the last time I did this, when I did the Eastern Kingdoms, it was Friday evening, and it got a little bit more of a viewership. But you know, if you understand exactly, yeah. Is this Felpaw Scavenger gonna attack me? No, but I'm gonna attack it. He resisted? That's crazy. Oh, you're still here? Got you running in the background while I level. That's cool, thank you. Let's see what level you are now. I can still probably pull you up in chat. 17, alright, there you go. Yeah, this is definitely a walk of walks. Let's see how far from the Barrens I've separated. Yeah, so you're probably still, you know, somewhere around the middle of the Barrens. I'm almost out of Felwood, not out of Felwood, but I'm almost at where the Timber Maw exist. So we've got a little bit of a ways to go. Almost at Winterspring. I guess I could eventually do this again and do the alternative paths where, like, instead of ending in Turrisful Glades, I do Eastern Plaguelands and, like, cut through Dunmarogue and go from Westfall down to Blasted Lands, kind of doing the opposite path from the first one. And then for this one, I could do Teldrassil, I guess, down to Silithus, or maybe like the bottom of Unguro. I could do like the opposite side of each continent. I mean, honestly, leveling in the Barrens, you could, from my knowledge, you could be there from like 10 to 30. And then even then you can come back to do Razorfen Crawl and Razorfen Downs. So you could spend from like 10 to 40 in the Barrens. I guess that's why it's such a big and connected zone. Yeah, I guess Felwood is pretty big because you're gonna scoop all the way on the outside of the zone. So this one might end up being another mile zone. We're at 0.8 in it. And then it's got that like weird, you like go down and then up to get into Winterspring. So we'll see. Got a bit of a sweat going, 2 hours and 12 minutes in, running out of water, running out of Pepsi, but we'll keep going. This is one of those zones that doesn't really have like too much music to it. Like, I know that when we were going through Elwyn and Red Ridge and the Loch, there were these very like powerful soundtracks. This one just kind of has that like wistful eeriness to it, which is pretty cool. Well, we got a... I think that's a Defender of the Ancients or a Defender of the Grove from Warcraft 3. Night Elf building from back in the day. But it's like frozen because this whole area was corrupted. How are we doing? Yeah, there's nothing really attacked us. Like in, I know that we got attacked in the Burning Steppes coming out of Red Ridge. And then I think we had to do some avoiding in the lock of getting attacked. And then we definitely got attacked when we cut through Ruins of Anderhall. That was rough the last time. A Vengeful Wisp. Corrupted Wild Blossom. Alright, this is where it's going to hook down and then up. So that's going to be the last bit of Felwood pretty soon. I mean, all in all, 2 subscribers is not so bad. And I can say that I'm done with walking the 2 continents. And we can look into other walks at a later date. But I just wanted to get these 2 done. Because we did Stranglethorn to Trisfall, and this time we did Tanaris to, we're going to do it to Winterspring, and we are nearing the end. I actually restarted watching the Guild. I don't know if anybody's seen that, but super fun World of Warcraft inspired TV series. I'm on, who's this? It's a human warlock, Bamalok. But the Guild is like a World of Warcraft inspired TV series that originally ran on like YouTube and the internet, and then I think it was on Netflix for a little bit or something. But I'm on season 3, and it just reminded me of how cool it was to go to like midnight launches of the game, because in season 3 they have this whole like moment where they all wait in line for the game to be released and stuff. And I remember being in line for the release of Wrath of the Lich King on it was like on a school night for me when I was in, I want to say 7th grade, and it just felt so crazy to be in line and like finally see the other people that played this game, because I was pretty young. I was like 12, but a lot of the people in line were like mid to late 20s, 30s, and even 40 years old. We were all getting the same game. I remember going home and setting up the first disc to install, and then I think it said like it would take 2 hours, and it was, I think at the time it was 5 discs. So like that whole night I started installing it at like 1 a.m. and I set a timer for 3 and 5 and 6 so that like I would keep waking up to then put in the next disc so that I could start playing before school. That expansion was nuts. That's like when most of my friends started to play. I was one of the few that started playing during Classic. It was also around the same time that a lot of people started playing RuneScape. So, RuneScape being free to play really was an easier way to get the MMO experience. Alright, we're officially out of water. So, hopefully this doesn't take too much longer. Still got a little more Pepsi though. We're officially at 5 miles. So, Felwood has entered the ranks of another 1 mile zone, leaving us with just the 1,000 Needles, Stranglethorn Vale, and Felwood. Who would have thought? This one doesn't look that long. Oh, and the Barrens, right, and the Barrens. But it doesn't look that long, but I guess because of the entrance point, and then you kind of take this wide curve, go down and up, it makes perfect sense. Alright, 5 miles. So I actually, you know what? I think, all in all, this is going to end up being like a 6 mile walk. Maybe 6.5. And the other one was 7.5, but there was a little more zigzagging, so makes sense. And the enemies are climbing up to the low 50s. They're going to be in like the mid 50s here, and then 50s and 60s in Winterspring, so it is going to be a little difficult. Hopefully we don't have our first death, because walking back to the corpse is going to be annoying as hell. But then we'll be done. I think I'm going to put like a little Reddit post together with the 3 videos, because I think Kalimdor is just going to be its own video, but the Eastern Kingdoms was 2 parts, because when I first set out to do this project, I assumed wrongly that walking the whole zone would only take like 2 hours. So I gave myself 2 hours to film Eastern Kingdoms, and it ended up being like a 3.5 hour walk in total. So this time around, I allotted more time to do it. But we are almost... It is deceiving because there is this like up and round section, or I actually think it dips a little bit too. So just a bit of Felwood left, and then the treacherous tunnel of the Timbermaw Hold. I'm pretty sure I'm hostile with them. Yeah. We'll show the experience bar. Just because if I kill them, it's going to go down, so become even more hostile. Max out their hostility, I guess. Jadenar, Ashenvale, Talonbranch Glade, Winterspring, and Moonglade. Actually, we could end in Moonglade, which is higher up, but I don't want to get lost in the tunnel to Winterspring. You know what? I want to go through Everlook. So we're doing Winterspring. That was the original plan. We'll stick with it. Moonglade is technically further north, but maybe for the next one, if I do ever do Kalimdor again, instead of starting in Taldrassil, I'll start in Moonglade and do the opposite. Well, then I can't do Darkshore. Whatever. We're doing Winterspring is what I'm saying. There's Bamalok again. Or Bamalok. Going 160. A little jealous. So I looked it up. The actual run speed is like 14.3 or something. Like your regular character walk speed. And then mounted speed, I believe, is like 23.4 with your 60% mount, and then 100% mount speed is like 28. So it is actually so much faster than we're going. It's almost you know, 4 times the speed. So you could probably do this actually on 100% mount speed in like 20 minutes. Which we're here to actually walk it. We're a full mile, mile point 2 into Felwood. We're going to cancel Felwood as soon as we enter the Timbermaw Hold, which is this cave entrance here. So Felwood took about, did not keep great track of the time. We're going to say about 50, probably like 45 minutes. And it was 1 point what miles? Go back to the miles, please. .2 miles. And now we are starting Winterspring. Straight up just gonna get attacked. We're gonna do our best to not attack back. Actually, I think we should attack back earlier. Yeah, this is... Alright, and we're gonna fear. I didn't buff. That would have been great to have done earlier. So as you can see, this is already off to a great start. Getting lit up. And I'm pretty confident that we take the right, and then we'll be out of here. Because if we get lost, we're definitely going to die. Because we're running out of mana. We're going to preemptively attack this one. We'll use a mana potion now. Make sure that one dies. See, somebody died in this tunnel already, and we're walking, so. Now, from what I remember, you just go straight across. You don't do any dilly-dally, nothing crazy. Get hit, touch weakness, please. And it stunned him, that's beautiful. We got 2 more coming. Should be okay. We're gonna, when all, okay, just the 2 are here. Thankfully, Shadow Priests are pretty good at self-healing. And I have my talents mostly set up to keep mana regen. So this is sticky. We're actually going to try and preemptively get that one on us and behind us so that we can fear. There goes Ferganic as I lore walk by, getting beat the hell up. Completely out of mana. Not looking so hot. Probably should have homunculied the next one. Got a couple seconds on the fear, which we will use. And hope that we just get out of this tunnel alive. You know what? We're going to use a potion. We're going to bubble. I think we'll be okay. Well, we're officially in Winterspring. We didn't die in the tunnel. And we're going to go to Everlook and then straight up. This is another one of those where we go down and over. We're at 600 calories. Definitely started they're going to come and chase me, aren't they? How far is their pull radius? Alright, we're good. We made it through the tunnel. Didn't die. I feel like you can really only die in that tunnel if you're either not paying attention or underleveled. Oh, you know what? I never used my my little cannon. I probably could have used that during the encounter. Oh well. But here we go. We hit down and over. Get to, what the fuck is it called? Everlook. Walk up, and then we'll be done. We're at 5.4 miles. Nearing the end of the trip in the final zone. Actually, I could put the cannon back on. Just when it's ready for cooldown, we'll use it. I don't know. Put it. Well, we're out of those. That works. Well, this has been a journey. This is one of those zones that I didn't really get to do when I was a kid. Mostly because by the time I hit like the late 50s or 60 level, Burning Crusade was already announced and coming out. So I kind of just overlooked even attempting it. And then I did experience it a little bit, I think whenever they patched that you could get the Winterspring Tiger easier with just doing the daily quest 20 times in a row instead of, what was it, 40 or something crazy. I did it. So I came back here and I did a lot of the quests, you know, went to Everlook and stuff like that. But this is one of those zones that's like pretty cool, but I never really did much in it. We're on the home stretch. I'm feeling it. All right. And then I don't think you can get out there and over, but I know that you can at least get up here, so we'll just do that. Just get to Everlook, and then you walk straight up. What a journey. We did it with no deaths. Very few character interactions, except for Trance to Dragon. He's pretty cool for that. And then, like I said, I'll probably, not anytime soon, I gotta give the legs a rest after this, but maybe do some walking and reading lore books. Probably gonna start with the Scarlet Monastery. So we'll get to it eventually, but for now, lots of actually probably still like another, I'm gonna guess 20 minutes left. I'm acting like it's not that much, but you know, what are we, 2.5 hours in, 5.5 miles, and we've done Tanaris to Winterspring, but then we still have this like L shape of Winterspring left. And we started at 5.2 miles, and we're already 0.3 miles in. So, because we counted the tunnel too. So this one might be another full mile. Yeah, I think we're going to end around like 6 miles, maybe 6.1 or something like that. And since the other one I was a little less accurate, because I didn't do it in one fell swoop like this. I feel like both continents and paths are about 7 miles. So we'll see. Yeah, it just rolled over to 5.6. I think the addition of the treadmill camera is nice. The first time around I just had to report the information, and like a lot of the stream I was just like looking straight down, trying to pay attention. And then I also added the 2 add-ons, the percent speed and the character speed. Once I get to, how about this, when I get to Everlook, we'll see if I can even, if my treadmill supports the speed. And I'll try and do a little bit on the 5.1 and see how like actually ridiculous of a speed that is. So interesting, this zone has like just the classic WoW leveling zone music, but it also sounds like it's got like a little bit of a winteriness to it. It's like the same music as Dunmarogue, but with like a thunderstorm. It's definitely one of those things that the closer you get to the finish line, the more it feels like you're far away. There goes 2 Tauren, Torov, and Bane Hallow. I really have /walked basically the whole way. Just so little left. Gonna feel pretty good to just finish this up and then get a nice cold glass of water. Is there anyone in this zone besides those 2 Tauren? Oh yeah, there's a couple people. Druid, Hunter, me, a Shaman, and a Warrior. Well, a Shaman and the Druid were the 2 people that ran by. He's walking here, so true. Nearly done walking here. 5.7 miles. So yeah, I feel like we're gonna hit right like, I'm gonna go over 6.2 is my guess. Definitely sweating at this point. almost 2 hours and 40 minutes in, 5.7 miles. How many calories? 640 calories. Dr. Mantis Toboggan would say if I was wearing an 80-pound weighted vest, it would be like 2,000 calories or something crazy burned. Nearly done, though. Probably going to end right at like the 3-hour mark. I also don't have the flight path here, so as I go by, I'm going to snag that flight path. 5.8 miles down. I could do the Shift M. That way we just have I don't know why I didn't do this way earlier. Could have had this side map the whole time. It's a good question, Lockie. Do you think we should play some Baldur's Gate 3 today? Because that could be pretty fun. Got a dwarf warrior go by. Delge. This part of the walk is pretty boring, because I have no stories about Wintergrasp for the most part. So. Winterspring. Winterspring. Except for I really only came here when I was leveling my warrior to get exalted with Timbermaw Hold. You would come in here just by that entrance gate, kill the furbogs, get the beaded necklaces, and the what was that other thing they dropped? The like growth potion. It's like green, makes you grow, gives you a small strength buff, something like that. So we're actually gonna hook back down a bit, grab the flight path, walk up, call it a day. Or looks like there's a fork in the road. We could just walk straight up to wherever that leads us. Check the postage. Starfell Village, Everlook, Moonglade, Felwood. Starfell Village is that way. And Frost Saber Rock. So I think actually we're gonna do my original plan. Just get to the top. Well, let's finish up here. .9 miles. Basically done. Got a 56 dwarf here. That's crazy. Man, oh man, nearing the end. Definitely sweating a bit. Definitely starting to feel a little bit of soreness in the legs. Hitting basically the 6 mile mark. Burned 666 calories. Feeling it for sure. And I have this walking treadmill because occasionally while I'm working from home, it's good to get a couple steps in, so I'm not sitting all day. But then I thought I could use it for something like this, just to see how fun it would be to walk the length of Azeroth. That was the plan here. Six miles on the dot. We're still going up, although it starts to curve off. Let me look up the map of Winterspring, because like if this path veers too far over, yeah, actually it looks like it takes us right to like one of the tops of the map. So we'll just follow this path, and then that's that. Alright. It's not that much more. Should I try ramping up the treadmill? I don't know. I don't really have like a clear area behind me. I don't really have that big of a room. I don't want to like shoot backwards into my bookshelf. So I'm gonna pass. Unfortunately, I do not think I can sustain the 5.1 miles per hour walk in this room. Plus, I think Mr. Whatever Mantis Toboggan has left the chat, so who really cares? But we're almost done. That's what matters. Got a Night Elf Rogue. I like how people stop and wave. You're here, do the 5.1. Alright, you're watching. Let me just move this chair as much over as I can. I'm going to take the glasses off. And we'll start ramping it up. Because I'm going to try and do it with like a walking... Oh, the fastest the treadmill goes is 3.8. So we'll try and do it at 3.8. This is uncomfortably fast. Oh, Trance Dragon, you found that? Yeah, it was just like oddly walking next to me at one point. Okay, this is... 3.8 is faster than you'd want it to be. So we're going to end, once we get to the end of the path, at Frost Saber Rock. This is brutal. It is now serious. I'm walking pretty quick, and I'm trying to not fall over, because it's a small treadmill. Oh no, and I'm getting attacked? This is not good. This is not good. Okay, I think that should be fine, as long as the second one doesn't come around. Oh my gosh. Oh, you can actually see that I'm trying to keep up with my upper body. Okay. Okay. We're almost at the end. That's gonna die, right? Oh, there's another. Fantastic. Let's just preemptively. You happy, Dr. Mantis? Now I have to fight snow stalkers at 3.8 miles an hour for the next, like, 2 minutes. Maybe even 10 minutes. Fuck. Oh, there's 3 of them. This is good. This is fucking great. The mountains are right there, though. Oh god. I almost just stepped off the treadmill. Oh gosh. I am sweating now for real. Fear them. Make sure the dots are still on. The mountains are right there. We're almost done. Dude, Dr. Mantis, I am sweating because of this. Oh my god. Alright. We're in the clear, right? Alright. Alright. There's no more tigers or leopards. Okay. Okay. That tree. The one right there. Or no. That tree. We're going to that tree and then we're calling it. My legs are hurting. 7 miles total. 2 hours, 50 minutes. It looks like we're going to have to kill maybe one more tiger. 6.3 miles. Let's just preemptively get that tiger out of the way. Snow leopard, whatever. Okay. Okay. Alright. Oh, I'm fucking up my keys because I'm on a treadmill. No, we're going to the big tree. We're serious. We can make it to the big tree. We're out of mana. Mana potion. Okay, we gotta make it to that big tree. This is so hectic. Dude, I am sweating right now. We're out of mana. We're being attacked. My legs are on fire. This is not going. And he resists the fear. Cannon time. Okay. We're almost there. No. Come on. Okay. Okay. On the other side of the tree. We're done. Alright, we did it. Turn off this fucking treadmill. Okay. We gotta live here, right? Otherwise, it's a failure. Oh, man. Where's the other one? I'm legit sweating from that. 6.4 miles total. I didn't actually measure Winterspring, but we did it. That was brutal at the end there. Very sweaty now. If you die, you need to start over. Well, I didn't die. I only got to 27% health. We're not going back to Tanaris. We're going to mount up and go to Everlook. And then I will end the stream. Sweating pretty fucking hard right now, though. My legs are definitely feeling it. I think near the end there, let me go back in the video to see. 6 point. Oh, come on. 714. What's it called? Calories burned. Am I gonna die here? Forgot to heal up. No, I'm probably fine. Bottle the sweat to make soap compete with Sydney Sweeney's bathwater. Yeah, I don't think people want my sweat soap. But I might need to wipe down my headphones after this. One sec. Yeah, that was legit very sweaty from that. That 3.8 at the end. Whew. Well, thanks for watching. From Trance to thank you for watching Trance to Dragon. I'm glad you responded in Barrens chat. This was a fun one. I think when I do the Scarlet Monastery and read the books, I'm probably not going to do it at 3.8, although that could be funny. We might do it a little bit slower. So at least I now know the max speed of my treadmill. I didn't know that before. It's 3.8. And it is hectic to go that fast. Ah, shit. Do I have to go around this? Think you can climb that mountain? Let's just go around. Let's not risk it. Thank you. I'll be streaming more things like this. I don't know if they're all going to incorporate the treadmill, but you can even see the treadmill moved out of frame of my camera because of how fast I was walking. I like shook the ground a bit. Yeah, that was definitely an experience going that fast while fighting the tigers. But here's this is what I was showing earlier. So if I take off my carrot on a stick and I just have a regular trinket on, the mount speed is 2.29, 160%. With the carrot, 2.36, 165%. So I feel like you could do the whole map so much faster if you just used your mount, but that was not the point of the video. I did have a fun time doing it. But we'll end it right in the we'll go in the inn. That's a good place to stop in Everlook. So until next time, you know. Definitely gonna take a break, sit down for a bit,